Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And welcome back to the channel that brings power gaming to the next level. Today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we are talking about the spell Blade of Disaster from Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden. So this is from an official D&D book. It's not a Matt Mercer special or Crit Roll special or Drakkenheim or any of that stuff. So we're going to talk about this because it is in D&D canon. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I've got another video out. All right. Blade of Disaster, we're giving this one an A-. This is a really good spell. If you do certain things, it can do a really great amount of damage. It is usable by sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. It is a 9th level spell. I kind of feel that there's a few more spells in the 9th level spells that probably do more damage just based off of like area of effect and how many different targets they will affect. Because this one primarily only affects 1 or 2 targets, depending on what you want to do. So it's a 9th level spell. Its casting time is a bonus action. It has a range of 60 feet. Verbal and somatic components, spell components. It lasts for a minute with concentration. You absolutely want to concentrate on this. You create a blade-shaped planar rift about 3 feet long in an unoccupied space you can see within range. The blade lasts for the duration. When you cast this spell, you can make up to 2 melee spell attacks. So those are melee spell attacks, not melee weapon attacks. Very different things because weapon attacks trigger certain kinds of feats and things, whereas melee spell attacks don't. So each one against a creature, loose object, or structure within 5 feet of the blade. It doesn't say it has to be against a different creature. Just a creature can be against the same creature. On a hit, the target takes 4d12 damage. So on average, 4d12 damage is 26 points of damage, or essentially a base fireball spell. This attack scores a critical hit if the number on the d20 is 18 or higher. On a critical hit, the blade does an additional 8d12 force damage for a total of 12d12 force damage. 12d12 force damage is 78 damage on average. On a bonus action, on your turn, you can move the blade up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see, and then make up to 2 melee spell attacks with it again. So it's like a super spiritual weapon. Except you can move it 30 feet instead of 20 feet, and it makes 2 attacks, and it crits on an 18 or higher, which is awesome. Finally, the blade can harmlessly pass through any barrier, including a wall of force. This spell has a lot of great things. I think the best thing about this spell is it's a bonus action to cast it, and it's a bonus action to use it. And it's 2 attacks when you do use it. So like I said, it is good against 1 or 2 opponents. Not necessarily a whole slew of opponents that are all spread out or in a certain configuration that, you know, would be hit by a pretty big area of effect spell. So let's talk about some pros and cons. It's a bonus action cast. It's a bonus action use. It has a potential of 52 damage per round if you don't crit. So that 4d12, which is 26 if you hit twice, that becomes 52. It can pass through any barrier. That's awesome, including a wall of force. Now, this one has a little bit of interpretation. If you know something is on the other side, even if you can't see it, you could pass it through the barrier and try and attack it, I guess. You know, you can see through a wall of force, so, you know, that is a thing. It is only a verbal and somatic component. A lot of these spells have a material component that costs a lot of money. It crits on an 18 or better, which is massive. And crits, on average, do 78 points of damage. So if you were to crit twice with this, it's going to do 78 times 2, which is 166 damage. That's a lot of damage. Now, that is 9th level spell damage. Now, a con is that it is a melee spell attack, so it's going to use your spell attack modifiers. So if you're the sorcerer, it's charisma. If you're a wizard, it's intelligence. And if you're a warlock, it's charisma. And you got to basically be straight class levels in all three, in one of those, to get this spell. All right. And that's pretty much the only con I can think of, because, I mean, you just rip this out and it's a bonus action. One thing, so let's look at some of the classes, I think, and we'll talk about some ways to use this spell. So for sorcerers, I like the fact that you could use Seeking if you make an attack roll for a spell. This is a melee spell attack, so it is an attack roll, and miss. You can spend 2 sorcery points to re-roll the d20, and you must use the new roll. You can use Seeking even if you already use a different metamagic option. So you could use the Seeking one, and you could also use Empowered. When you roll damage for a spell, it's a melee spell attack, you can spend 1 point to re-roll a number of damage dice up to your charisma modifier. So, which at this level should be about 5. So you could actually re-roll all 4 of these dice by spending that 1 point. And that's not when you cast the spell. That's when you roll damage. You can use Empowered even if you already used a different metamagic option during the casting of the spell. So that's another one. You can use Empowered and Seeking with this. And Seeking is not when you cast the spell. It's when you make an attack roll for a spell. So those are pretty powerful. While I always like the Wild Magic Sorcerer, you can bend luck to add to when another creature you see makes an attack roll. You can use your reaction to spend 2 points and apply the number as a bonus. So you could technically use this for a lot of different things. All right. The wizard, not really. Flavor-wise, it goes with the Blade Singer, but, so you would be getting your attacks, plus you'd use your bonus action to use the Blade of Disaster. So, I mean, it kind of stacks okay with that. I like the Hex Warrior for this because you can put the Hex Blade's curse on them, and you get some bonus to damage. You could get some hit points. You could hex them for a little bit of extra damage, so on and so forth. Now, let's talk about some things that you can do to really take advantage of this, and we're going to talk about advantage. Attacking at advantage with this is extremely important because of the fact that you're critting on an 18 or higher. So there is a 15% chance on a 20-sided die that you are going to get an 18, 19, or 20. And if you got advantage now, you're not necessarily doubling that number, but it is going up substantially. And let's say you're an elf or a half-elf with elven accuracy. So whenever you have advantage on attack rolls using dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, you can re-roll one of the dice once. Essentially, you're getting 3 dice on that particular roll. So if we look at a dice probability calculator, so I did here a 20-sided die that uses 3 dice, and at least one of the die is greater than or equal to 18. There is a 38% chance that you're going to get that. If we got 2 dice, there is a 27% chance that one of those dice is going to have an 18 or better for that, that big, giant, whopping amount of damage. So if you have advantage against something, you're attacking twice with this, which is going to roll out a whole bunch of damage if you crit, and that maximizes your chance to crit. If you've got Elven Accuracy and you've got advantage, then your chances of getting that crit twice are even higher, and you would love to get that crit twice in a row. And if you happen to be a Blade Singer as well, you got this thing attacking, and then you got all of your own attacks as well, which is just massive. So many ways to manipulate this. All right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.